And that's not what really sells. Like Giving Tuesday is about connecting, it's about community, it's about real faces.
Okay, before we even begin, I'm going to highly suggest that everyone go over to your YouTube channel and subscribe, but not now. You got to watch the video first. And yeah, Kelly, we want to talk about Giving Tuesday tips. And I know that you're the perfect person to talk about this as a marketing guru. Or nerd, I should say. But why don't we just go and jump right in and talk about, should we even think about doing Giving Tuesday?
Yeah, and Joy, thank you so much for that question, because I think some organizations feel like they have to, right? They don't even like realize that there's a choice not to. And I do think that for most organizations, when it comes to Giving Tuesday, they don't really realize how many resources it takes for a good, this is truly a crowdfunding community engagement campaign. It's not a couple posts on social media. So a few of the questions that an organization should ask about whether or not they should do Giving Tuesday is to look at, do we have capacity? Is there an internal campaign manager, whether it be a marketing coordinator or a skilled volunteer, or do you have a marketing firm you partner with to carry out a successful Giving Tuesday campaign? Because the last thing you want to do is say, yes, I'm going to do it, and then not do it well, but still dedicate some resources. Because end of year matters, as we all know in the fundraising space. So I would ask, do we have capacity to run a successful campaign? And also, Giving Tuesday is not for a bunch of large major gifts. It really is about, it's a digital marketing campaign on social media and email that's about getting your community involved, developing out your community, sharing your story. I say it's a perfect warm and fuzzy campaign. And it really isn't for major givers. It's for new, maybe first-time givers, or some of those small to mid-sized donors that maybe don't feel like they typically are giving, to get them engaged to give on Giving Tuesday. So you need to make sure you have that donor base to begin with, because if you're asking for money, you want to make sure there are people there ready to donate.
I've seen a lot of the spray and pray approach with Giving Tuesday, where it's like, okay, it's Giving Tuesday, let's throw out a bunch of posts, send an email to our subscribers, and a little bit more thought and attention to detail. So what would be some of your biggest tips in terms of, if there's an organization, they're interested in getting started, where should they begin? What would a plan look like for them?
Yeah, and I love, the first step is to have a plan. Okay, that's exactly where to start. Have a plan. So for a lot of organizations, they maybe don't realize how much work goes into a digital campaign. So I typically say at least 6 weeks out before the Giving Tuesday, which is right the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, after Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, that's 6 weeks before that. You really are deciding, what is our messaging? What is unique in our messaging? I really think one of the ways Giving Tuesday isn't working, it's becoming oversaturated and people are just like posting the Giving Tuesday logo. So really take the time to strategize what a unique campaign for your organization would be. And then one of my biggest tips, in addition to having a strategy, is to get so many different stakeholders, faces, no matter what your organization's mission is. There's people involved, and Giving Tuesday needs to show people. So make sure you're getting stakeholders involved. I would say board, volunteers, key staff, clients, all of those faces should be shown during your Giving Tuesday campaign if you want it to be successful. And just like actually, just like Joanne, that you and I are recording right now, organizations can pre-record content, edit it out, and then schedule it for Giving Tuesday. So it doesn't have to be, I see a lot of organizations like shooting from the hip the day of to get as much content as possible. A great Giving Tuesday campaign is planned out at least 6 weeks in advance. There are multiple stakeholders. I highly, highly recommend use of video. That's the easiest way to communicate a mission and communicate a message. It's not a bunch of Canva graphics, right? Canva's great, branding is great, but the easiest way for a successful Giving Tuesday campaign is a combination of graphics and use of video.
One of the best campaigns that I saw, it was an organization that I used to work for. I didn't do the campaign, somebody else did, but they did a great job. They had the pre-recorded videos that they did. They had it themed beautifully, and they ran it almost like a peer-to-peer campaign where these people who recorded the videos were their ambassadors, and those ambassadors were reaching out to their network, and it was very, very successful when they treated it almost like a peer-to-peer campaign.
Right.
Oh.
And, one of the most successful Giving Tuesday campaigns we've managed has been really engaging. Actually, it was just the board of directors, I'd like to say. And it was an organization that's like, our board won't do anything. And I'm like, challenge accepted. Right. And made the board members the ambassadors, drafted all the personalized emails for them. Right. We got their signature, we got their headshot, we got their list of 20 people. And we had them sign what you said, ambassador contract, but a contract ahead of time of what they're committing to on Giving Tuesday. And because we made it so easy for the board to get engaged, they did. And it was successful. I think the previous year was like a $4,000 campaign, and it was almost a $40,000 campaign that next year with those few tweaks. And it sounds like for you, the right messaging instead of just like, give to us, it's Giving Tuesday, which we see a lot of organizations doing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And what about some of the challenges that you've seen around Giving Tuesday?
Yeah, it goes back to, one of the key challenges is just capacity, right? Organizations will say and put out pretty publicly, we want to raise $60,000 on Giving Tuesday, but they don't really have capacity to get there. So that's a key challenge, is make sure you have the people and plan to get there. Another challenge I see is from the user experience of a donor. Giving Tuesday is a digital marketing campaign where people are clicking somewhere on a website. And I've seen nonprofits that still have, PayPal, and they don't really you put in your own numbers, and it makes it very confusing and difficult. And their donor retention rate on that landing page, I know, Joe, and this is something you talk about a lot, right? That donor retention rate on the landing page is really low. And so that's not a successful campaign, because even people that want to donate don't really know how to or what to. And so they're losing donors. So I would say, if anyone's doing a Giving Tuesday campaign, especially if you have it planned appropriately, to make sure that the user experience for a donor is as easy. I say no more than 3 clicks. So when you're, on social media, primarily it's typically a Facebook campaign for many of our clients. I'm based in the Midwest. When they click donate, it needs to be less than 3 clicks for them to be able to donate. And you need to start with that highest amount, right? You hope all your donors are going to do $500 or $1,000. So we want to make it difficult for them to donate less. So make those, those aspirational numbers the first or second click, so that you can get those donations in.
Yeah. Well, that brought up something for me, because I know when I do the planning, I like mind maps. I'm a visual type person. So I want to kind of take, all right, these are our ambassadors, these are the materials they're going to need. But when you said about the landing page, what materials do you typically have in the toolbox for Giving Tuesday?
Yeah. So many materials. So starting from the beginning, I briefly mentioned that board or ambassador contract. That's one of the first pieces you need. You need to have that branding for whatever your campaign is going to be set up. And I would say that's more than 6 weeks out, right? That's 2 to 3 months out minimum. You're getting commitments for whoever is going to be the hype person, and the faces and the people sharing. So you're going to have that board contract set up. In addition, again, I said video. That does involve some of the tech stack. It is a digital marketing and email campaign. So maybe not quite in a toolkit, but a part of your tech stack that you need is, I would say, a social media scheduler. I'm a big fan of Metricool. I'm not sure. There are a lot of great ones out there. I'm a big fan of Metricool, and a good, visually appealing email marketing platform. Now, for a lot of nonprofits, they tend to use the one that's housed within their donor management system, which is great. But a lot of those are not visually friendly, and they're not really easy to customize. And you really want the content that goes out on Giving Tuesday to be visually appealing, very dynamic. The videos that you're recording should be able to play in that email. So, maybe not a toolkit, but some of those tech stack things you need set up ahead of time. And if you don't have it, I think Giving Tuesday is a nice opportunity to, if done well, to trial out a new platform, whether that be a donor management platform, a donation acceptance platform. I'm not sure what those terms are called. Email management platforms. It's a great time to test a new software because it is just a campaign in itself and not your ongoing donors.
Mm-hmm. And what about scheduling? Like, how far out do you start posting about Giving Tuesday, and when do you wrap it all up? What does that schedule look like?
And Joanne, I would love to hear what you and I might have different answers on this. So I'll tell you mine, but then you got to share yours. So I do believe, I'm a digital marketing nerd first. And I do believe that people get bored easily. So, we'd love to say, get ready for Giving Tuesday, get ready for Giving Tuesday. I would say tease 7 to 10 days out. Make sure everything's ready to go. And then email the night before, email the morning of. I typically say 4 to 6 emails kind of minimum. And that means I would say overall campaign emails and then also targeted ones to keep people updated if they are donors and they are clicking, like make sure to keep them engaged that day. And but I've heard a month out. I think we need to be careful to not like bore people. And then the next day, make sure you can never say thank you enough. So I honestly think on the back end, especially as we anticipate December where most donations come in, we need to say thank you to our Giving Tuesday donors the day of, the evening of, the next morning, a week later, and then show the impact the donations made and maybe even hype them up to maybe make an additional or an add a zero gift for their December and end of year giving.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree with what you said. And I love the idea of getting matching donors. So that's, a good way to introduce Giving Tuesday before it comes along, and then sending the reports, which really speaks to, you talked about tech, and that's having a great donor management platform that can track all of that so that, these particular people gave to Giving Tuesday. I'm going to send them a very targeted, segmented thank you report later on, and just to make sure to keep that relationship going.
Yeah. And I love the donor management and the thank you. Also, I guess one of the things that I do recommend, like the day of, to have a campaign manager, not that's out getting video, recording stories, but that's literally glued to their computer. And every time a donation comes in, tagging the person, saying thank you. That thank you in the moment is very important too. And often we get too busy, especially if you only have one person running the whole campaign, tracking all the donations, maybe doing some in-person event. So having a trusted volunteer or a campaign manager that's kind of glued to their computer to do all those digital marketing thank yous really does build hype the day of. I don't know, comments help.
We're going to have to do another video on social media.
Nerd out all day. Let's do it.
Yeah. No, me too. Yeah. Because it's so important to be able to respond and share and do all this instantly, not just post and ghost.
Right? Post and ghost. I love that term. Post and ghost. Yeah, we don't want to post and ghost.
No, we don't. All right. Well, any other tips that you have up your sleeve?
Yeah. And I do think, I hate to say keep it simple, but so many nonprofits feel like for Giving Tuesday, they have to take the Giving Tuesday logo, which is kind of important, and put it out and make these perfect graphics and make it almost feel like corporate. And that's not what really sells. Like Giving Tuesday is about connecting. It's about community. It's about real faces. And so I would say keep it simple in your messaging and then repeat it over and over again. And keep it simple and with whatever your capacity is in terms of content. So again, I would recommend all day if you're like, I only have 12 hours to plan and put together a Giving Tuesday campaign. Like I would be taking your phone and just recording like raw 30-second thank you videos from people, giving them an idea of what the theme is and be like, go record, and then rescheduling that, as opposed to spending 12 hours creating 4 Canva graphics that are going to get 3 likes. So yeah, keep it simple. And I guess a final tip, and you mentioned matching gifts. And that's so much for digital marketing campaigns, like just a piece of the puzzle that I almost, I'm like, oh yeah, that is a piece of the puzzle. And I like have it written up here on a Post-it note for campaigns we're doing. But it is really a great way, not only to raise more money, because people love to make $50 become $100, but it's a great way to get whoever the matching donor or corporate partner is that's sponsoring the campaign, them some great marketing without having to do any work. And it's a really, Giving Tuesday should be a warm and fuzzy time. And so it's an easy opportunity for a corporate partner or donor to get a piece of that warm and fuzzy that your organization makes an impact they make.
Yeah. Well, it kicks off the entire giving season. And I know that I, as a donor, wait until Giving Tuesday. And this is terrible. I shouldn't say this. But I want to see who's going to, out of all of those emails that I belong to and all those charities that I'm connected to, who's going to come to me? What does their messaging look like? I mean, so don't base your campaign on someone like me. I'm really surprised at how many are not taking advantage of it, how many are just flinging off emails and throwing up
Right.
social media posts. And then when I see the ones that are just smashing it out there, they're doing fantastic, because this is an annual campaign. This is meant to bring in new donors to our organization, renew existing donors, and help spread the awareness of our organization. It is an incredible opportunity if done right. Yeah.
Yes. And no, the attraction, Giving Tuesday is attraction marketing, like you say, new donors. And so many organizations, I just want to simplify a little bit more, just put up literally a post that says it's Giving Tuesday, give money. And the difference between that and something that is goosebumpy, is emotive, draws people in, right? It's attraction marketing, draws people in, is unique. If you have a little experience when you see the piece of content, because it gives you wonderful, warm goosebumps. That, like, those are very different things. And I would say, and Joanne, I don't know, now you'll have to report out. I would guess like 50% of organizations just do that, like, give to us, it's Giving Tuesday, right?
More than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but there's something to having a video with a donor or supporter of your Giving Tuesday campaign that's social proof. And we know that those younger next gen donors, they like social proof, and they do it because their friends are doing it. So if we
Right.
take the time to craft the materials that are shareable, I donated, you donate now, those kinds of things, it can be very powerful. Yeah. Hey, anything that we missed that's coming up for you?
No, I do have actually, in the Nonprofit Marketing Nerd freebie vault, I do have a Giving Tuesday playbook that just gives, like, this is a tentative schedule, this is what you should be thinking about. It reinforces some of the things that I just talked about. That's a free downloadable resource. So especially if your organization is like, your organization is watching this and they're like, oh, that does all sound like something I might want to do. And these sound like great plans. Like, it really is like a little 9-page guide that will get you started and at least leveling up your Giving Tuesday campaign.
Okay, I'm going to link that in the video description, along with your YouTube channel, your contact information, socials, things like that. So if anyone wants to reach out to you, they can. Like I say, highly recommend your channel. It's fun. You're more fun than I'm like boring, but you're fun.
Thank you. It's my video editor. No. She's fun.
All right. Well, thank you again, Kelly. It was lovely, and yeah, hopefully we come back and we do another one on social media. I think the two of us could really have a lot to say on that subject.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.